Mobster Boss Radio Live is not intended for anyone under the age of 18. If you are under the age of 18 and still here from this point on, we assume you are here with the consent, approval, and supervision of a parent or guardian. With that said, here's Lester.
Candy here. Foreplay. You're listening to Mobster Boss Radio Live. Radio Live.
Back by popular demand.
Let's get ready to rumble!
JD. Sunny.
And Lester.
Let's do it then!
Ang susunod na palabas ay rated PG.
You're listening to Mobster Boss Radio Live with Lester.
Good Lord, love a duck. Hey, Lester Bartholomew Jones in your ear, and I'm going to be there for, well, until I get ready to get out of your ear. How about that? And here's the deal. You do not have the authority nor the ability to turn me off. That's right. You're stuck with me. Oh, you shouldn't have started listening in the first place because of the quality of my mesmerizing voice. Oh, that's right. But hey, before I get started, I want to say hello to my friend Dickie up around Lake Superior in Wisconsin, in Price County. That's right, in God's country. What I come to find out is the whitest area in the United States. You know, I received a message from somebody asking me why I said that was God's country. And in the same breath, said something about it being the whitest area in the United States. When you asked me both of those questions, it answered itself. Oh, I can't believe I said that. But anyway, we'll get away from that right now. But I want to say hello to Dickie up there. And you know what? There's another friend I want to say hello to. There's another guy that I want to say hello to. He listens up there. And his name's Tim. Now, Tim and Dickie, they know each other. In fact, they used to work together. Yes, they did. But, hey, Tim, I just want to say hello to you, say hello to Dickie, and you guys say hello to all my other friends up there, okay? And that's in Price County, Wisconsin, up around Lake Superior. It's God's country, just like I said. Anyway, and Dickie, I am coming up this summer. Oh, that's a fact. Going to come up and breathe some of that God's country air. I don't even know. You know what? It may be too clean for my lungs. Not sure. Oh, my gosh. You know what? It has been like 12 days since I broadcast. 12 days. You know, this was pointed out to me today, so I decided I better get right on it. And here I am. It seems that Friday night, Reese Witherspoon, you know, I'm your all-American girl next door. Her and her husband are driving around Atlanta, and he's weaving all over the road, and they get pulled over, right? Reese Witherspoon and her husband. So they get him out of the car, and they give him a breathalyzer, and he blew way up there, 1 point, whatever it was. It was way up there, and he was way drunk. Well, she didn't like what was happening. Apparently, she was drunk as well. She didn't like what was happening, so she started leaning out of the car, yelling at the cop, telling him that he probably wasn't even a real police officer. Did he know who she was? And at the time, I guess this cop didn't, and she said, I am going to make your life, something about, he was going to find out who she was, and she was going to make his life miserable, and he probably wasn't a real cop, and blah, 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 blah. Well, next thing you know, not only is hubby going to jail, but so is she. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, there you go. And could it get any worse? Well, I'll tell you what, turns around over this same weekend. What happens? What happened? Al Michaels. That's right. The voice of Monday Night Football. What happened? Here he is in I believe it's Santa Barbara, Santa Monica, one of those Santa whoever's. Anyway, he gets pulled over, except his deal is they were doing a DUI checkpoint, and Brother Al, he is driving down the road and he sees the DUI checkpoint, and he's kind of close, but he decides he better not go through it because I guess Al's had a few too many. So Al just decides to pull an illegal U-turn right in the middle of the road within eyesight of everybody down at the checkpoint, and he starts heading the other way, and of course they catch up with him, pull him over. He blows a .08, which is, I think that once you reach .08, you're considered drunk. They booked him in. He was in jail for like 5 or 6 hours. Al Michaels. Who would have thought that? You know, and I guess it's getting to the point they're just not letting any of these celebrities catch a break. Anyway, there you go. That's the updated news, staying away from all the tragedies and the bombings. But you know what? We were really inundated last week, weren't we? It was like no matter what you did. You know, I was sitting, you know, I'm down in Dallas right now, and I was fixing to go outside. I was getting ready to leave. And across the news on Monday of last week, it came across the news that the Dallas police were chasing a car on the highway, and apparently one of the news helicopters had picked up on it, and they were broadcasting this, and the reason that it was so unusual unusual enough for them to be broadcasting that is that the Dallas Police Department does not actively pursue anybody unless they're involved in a felony or a bank robbery, or, you know what I mean, something like that. So it was just unusual to see the Dallas police chasing a car. If you're running down the road and they attempt to pull you over and you run from the cops, they will back away and let you go. They've already got your tag number. They're going to come to your house and haul your ass to jail anyway. They're just not going to expose the public to all the dangers of a chase. But in this case, it turns out that this guy driving the car, this black guy, this brother, who is somehow going to turn this around to be the white man's fault, I'm certain of that. But anyway, what he had done is he had gotten into a domestic dispute with his girlfriend, who was 8 months pregnant. And so he shot and killed her, killed the baby too. And so that caused for a huge chase to take place, and hundreds of cars were involved in this. And in fact, as he was getting off Central Expressway and running down the access road, there was a police car that was kind of perpendicular to him, and it was going to come in behind him. And he shot from the passenger side from the driver's side through the passenger window. It went through the squad car's door and wounded the officer in the stomach. And then he run him on this big long chase for a little while. He pulls into a neighborhood. There were some people standing out in the front yard because apparently they had been watching TV and they knew it was coming into their neighborhood. So they're all out in the front yard. This guy pulls up to their front yard and starts shooting at them from his car. And he goes and then wrecks out up the street and runs and barricades himself into a house. And wow, you know, that was just intense watching all of that. That was just intense. So I had already put off going and doing what I intended to do before that started. And so just as I'm just about to get around, I get a phone call from JD, and I'm talking to him for a minute, telling him I'm going to go run some errands. And then boom, all over the radio or all over the television was the Boston bombing. That just took all of the rest of the day. It's crazy. It's crazy. Just inundated with stuff. And then a few days later, then, you know, you've got the television on and you see this huge fertilizer plant explosion and leveling the town of West. And that was all crazy. And then a couple of days after that, you know, and that took a couple of days because they had showed all the devastation in this town and all the people that they thought were dead. It was just crazy. It was just crazy. And then they found the bombing guys, you know, and I'm, like I said, I wasn't going to talk about all of this, and I'm not. I'm just talking about how crazy the world has become. I mean, it's just nuts. You know, and it makes you wonder. I mean, what is going on in the world that all of this stuff just needs to continue going on and on and on? You know, I tell you how we can stop all this terrorist bombing, or a lot of it, is if we just close our fucking borders. Just close them. You know, those people that were responsible for the bombing, they had come to the United States and seeking some kind of political sanctuary, or, you know, what am I trying to say? But anyway, they had come here and we let them in. And apparently last year or the year before, whatever it was, the Russian government had asked our government to check on one of these guys, the older brother, because they wondered if he might be hooked up to some extremist, terrorist type groups, and of course we found no cause or anything like that. Well, I'm just wondering if anybody actually really looked, you know? I think it's just crazy that we've got all of this stuff going on and it's continually this way. And then you've got people like me on the radio. I'm out here spouting all the things that you people think. I'm talking about the welfare, and I'm talking about the people that abuse welfare, and I'm talking about the people that won't get out and get a job, and all of this sort of stuff. And if I say the truth out there, what happens? You see, if I say the truth about, like last week when I was talking about that big fat black woman that decided that her time was more valuable than mine, and she had a grocery basket full of hundreds of items, and she pulls in to the quick checkout lane, right? The lane that says 15 items or less or 20 items or less, and she pulls in front of me, and it's just a mess. And you know what? I figured out why she had no respect for me and for the rules, is because everything she's ever done her whole fucking life is free. All she's ever done is given birth to a bunch of yard apes so that she can get more money. Hey, I'm saying it, you're thinking it. And so if you want to say that, if it comes to the point that I have to censor the truth, we're in big trouble. We're in big trouble. You see, I had somebody wrote me a message after I did that last show that I did about welfare and stuff like that, and they said that I was a bigoted racist. I didn't say anything that wasn't true. You know, they were mad about the fact that I pointed out that the black population accounted for somewhere around 15 or 16% of the population, yet 40% of all the welfare recipients. How is that racist? Because I pointed it out. You're thinking it. I'm saying it. Son of a bitch, people. Why does everybody have to be so politically correct? And who decided what was politically correct? Are you offended because I pointed that out? Well, if you are, that's too bad. I don't care. I don't care. And when if political correctness has to take place over the truth and has to take precedence over the truth, we've got some real issues here. I mean, don't you just hate it when somebody gets up there and they have something to say and they have to preface what they're going to say is, now don't get me wrong when I say this, you know, my best friend, you know, I have some of my closest friends are black. No, they're not. You're just trying to make yourself in some way feel better about the fact that you're going to point out a truth. What in the world are y'all thinking? Why is it so bad to point out the truth? You know, I said before, if you've got a pimple on your nose, I'm going to point that out. And these people that take advantage of the welfare system are not a pimple on anybody's nose. They're a pimple on the ass of society. And that's part of what's wrong with society today, is there's just free ride after free ride after free ride after free ride. Get a job. Get a job and work. Don't stay at home. It's just crazy. Get a job. And, speaking of getting a job, I've got a good friend, and he is a good friend. I don't like what he does, but he's a friend. And I've got a good friend that owns a relatively large construction company, and he employs just tons of undocumented workers. Now, he portrays himself out to be a great American, a guy that plays by the rules. He does not. A guy that respects the law. He does not. A guy that pays his taxes. He does not. He may fill out some fucking phony-ass tax form and pay something on his income, but the truth is, if any American owns a company and they hire an undocumented worker, that means that they don't have the option to go ahead and declare that money and write that money off. And that undocumented worker, they're not withholding their taxes on their checks. Consequently, the employer does not have to match any withholding funds. He's not paying that in. This is wrong. So don't ever portray yourself, and anybody that you know that hires these people or has hired these people in the past, don't ever mistakenly allow them to tell you what a wonderful American they are. They're against everything that is American. I feel that way. And he may be my friend, and I mean, we are friends, but I tell him this. I don't respect him for that. And it's just funny to me. He'll be the first one to call a cop if somebody steals something out of his yard. He'll be the first one to stand up and say, well, they ought to do something about this and they ought to do something about that. Yet he's the one that's going around and hiring undocumented workers and adding to this underground economy that we're trying to figure out how to get a grip on. It's funny how all the rules apply to everybody else, and this guy and these people will say that they are, that we're just honest, hard-working American people, and all the rules apply except when they need to break them. Well, nobody else will do this job. Bullshit. The truth is you hire these undocumented workers so that you don't have to have the added expense of matching some of the withholding taxes that go in when you pay them a salary. The truth is that you're able to hire these people at a lower rate than you would be able to hire somebody that's an American citizen. That's the truth of it. So don't talk to me about how wonderful these people are and how hard workers they are. I'm sure they're hard workers. But you hired them because you can pay them less money. It costs you less money out of your pocket, and you don't need to account for certain things. That's why you did that. And that's why you committed those crimes. And that's what that is a crime. You can call it anything you want. You can portray yourself out to be some church-going, wonderful person, but the truth is you are a criminal. That's just the way I feel about it. I'll be right back.
He wouldn't be afraid to show his feminine side if he had one. His mother has a tattoo that reads, Son. At museums, he's allowed to touch the art. He is the most interesting man in the world.
I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I prefer those Sakis. Stay thirsty, my friends.
The first time Lily saw the red Jetta on DriveTime.com, she fell in love with it. Which is funny, because Lily doesn't believe in love at first sight. She thinks it's just a silly romantic notion like hypnosis or the lost city of Atlantis. So, while it may have been the red Jetta that first caught Lily's eye, she wouldn't admit she had fallen for it until she test drove a few other vehicles at DriveTime. In this case, a Chrysler, Nissan, Chevy, 2 Toyotas, and a Dodge. DriveTime. We bring people and cars together. Find and finance your perfect vehicle at DriveTime.com. Subject to credit approval.
Time once again for Inspirational Moments with Lester.
The other night, I was laying with my girlfriend after I treated her to a marathon lovemaking session. I do this from time to time because I know that it's important for my girlfriend's emotional well-being. Being treated to such a fantastic lovemaking session certainly makes her feel better about herself. As we were laying there, she looked at me and she said, "Lester, do you like my breast?" I told her, "Of course, I love your breasts. I think they're perfect." She looked at me and gave me that little smile as if to say thank you, which I deserved. And then she said, I think I would like to have bigger breasts. I think it would make me feel better about myself. But I'm afraid of the complications of surgery. Well, it's time for me to draw upon my vast knowledge and wealth of information and things that I know as a man, while taking her awareness of herself into consideration and wanting her to feel good about herself. I told her, you might try rubbing toilet paper across your breast every day. I'm sure it'll work. She said, "But Lester, how would that work? How do you know that works?" And I said, "Well, I'm not sure of the dynamics, but I know one thing. It certainly worked for your ass."
That concludes another episode of Inspirational Moments with Lester.
I'm talking to all you namby-pamby pussies who don't want to find your voice or put your voice out there. Get the fuck off the internet! You are of no use to anybody. Shut your fucking accounts down. Shut your fucking mouths. Fall in line and love socialist America, because that's what you got. Fuck you. All you goddamn Ron Paul supporters, you Gary Johnson voting douchebags, kiss my ass. You want to really do it? I'll give you my fucking address. Better yet, Google my goddamn name, find it yourself, and show up unannounced. I'll be happy to fucking greet you at my door. I'll be happy to find you in my bedroom in the middle of the night, you assholes. Come on over, you goddamn motherfuckers. You think another 4 years of Obama is gonna be so much better than 4 years of Romney? You're too fucking stupid to live here. Go to hell, libertarians. Kiss my ass, you fucking bastards who think you voted for something. You didn't vote for shit. You helped Obama win, you fucking assholes. And there is a very large segment of this society that will never forgive you for that. So fuck off.
Hello?
Mom, can you hear me, darling?
Yeah.
It's Bobby.
Bobby?
Yeah.
Where are you?
I'm at work.
Yeah, well, you sound awful funny.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Hey, Mom, you sitting down?
Why?
I gotta tell you something.
What?
Don't get nervous. Something I've been meaning to tell you. I was gonna tell you when you called earlier today.
Yeah?
I'm gay.
Oh, you're full of...
I'm a Twinkie. I swear it.
Bobby, will you stop it? I have enough aggravation.
What? How come you never believe me?
Because I don't believe you.
Why?
Well, you just had a child, Bobby. Yeah.
That was to throw you off.
Yeah, okay.
I wanted to tell you that. I was hoping you wouldn't take it lightly, but...
Bobby.
What?
Are you trying to be funny?
I'm not. I had to tell you, I just don't feel right. I've known it ever since I was a kid.
Bobby, are you with Donna?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. All right,
with
okay. You can tell your father that. I'm not even going to bring it up.
All right.
You're the one that's always said some terrible things about those people. So what's the You know, what's all of a sudden?
Well, it was to throw everyone off, you know?
Bobby, I don't believe it. However, you know.
You still love me?
I've had enough heartache. I think, you know. Good
You still love me?
Of course I love you.
You just won't kiss me on the lips anymore, huh?
Bobby, what the hell are you doing? Drinking?
No.
Yeah, all right. Okay, I'm working. Your father's out to lunch. Have you told Gene this?